Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Darren. Hope you're all well and staying safe. So today we're going to do another stitch with me. We're going to be working on, zoom out, this piece. As was requested by a viewer. So we're going to work on this one. Now, as you can see, this is yellow underneath, not the blue one. I'm going to get onto this one in a moment. But first of all, someone's asked for a bit of a demonstration. So this is from Sherry. And she just asked if on my next stitch with me if I could do a demonstration or talk through the pin stitch for starting and stopping. She stitches on Aida with 2 strands of floss and wants to use some over-dyed floss. The other option would be using a waist knot for starting and the usual weaving the tail at the end of each strand. So wants to know the best way of doing a pin stitch. So I thought I'd do that one first. So I'm just going to zoom it in. Hopefully this will be okay. No idea where I am on here. Now, as you know, when I'm using 2 strands, I generally start with a loop start. So I'm just going to do a loop start on this so I can show you how to do the pin stitch finish. So obviously with your over-dyed, if you're using like a variegated one, you'll not be able to do the loop start because you'll need to get them sorted out. So I'm doing this in hand, so I apologise if it shakes a little bit. Right, so that's the first question. So when you come in to do the pin stitch, all you do is obviously come to a part where you know it's going to be covered up. Don't do it in a part that's not going to have any stitches over it, because otherwise you're going to end up seeing the mark and you don't obviously want to ruin your stitch. So how I do it, so I'm going to come up here. So you split the Aida. So come up at the bottom. So you split the Aida and come up. And then you want to go down in the middle there, so pierce in the middle fabric. Like so. And then you come up at the top of that one. Again, piercing the Aida. Back down through the middle. Like so. And then the choice is yours. You can either flip your piece over and snip your floss. I always come up through the top and then snip it. And that's it. That's done. So that's your pin stitch for finishing. Now you can do it either way. So you can either go that way or you can go across. So it just depends obviously which way your strands go. So like that one there, I would do it going that way. So again, I would come up at this side, down in the middle, and come up this end and down in the middle. And then obviously going that way, it'll be the same as what I've done there. Now theoretically, doing a pin stitch to start, there are a couple of different methods for this one. The one I do is, just find one I want to start on, where you can see here. It's first of all you would go down through the middle. If this is how you want to start with a pin stitch, so you go down in the middle. Don't pull it all the way through. Go down in the middle and leave a tail hanging, like so. And then you would again just do exactly the same as last time. So come up at the bottom. Keep hold of that tail. Again, go down in the middle. That kind of near enough secures it anyway. Then come up again at the top. Go back down in the middle. And that is now secure, so you can tug on that and that won't move. Put your needle where you're going to start your first cross. snip your tail off as close as you can, like so. And then do your stitch. And that will cover your pin stitch. And then you just carry on as normal. So I hope that helps. And then let me just snip this one off. You can also do it as well on the diagonal. No, I don't normally do the diagonal one. So basically it works near enough the same, but what you would do is, how do you do it now? You would go down in the middle, then you would come up in one of your diagonal holes, depending which way you stitch, and then go back down in the middle, up from the bottom leg, back down in the middle, and that theoretically gives you your first leg of your stitch. And then you just complete your stitch, and there you have it. And you just continue stitching as you would normally. So I would say there are a couple of different methods to doing the pin stitches. I prefer this version. That's the one I prefer. But some people prefer to do it on the diagonal. So there you go. So I hope that helps, Sherry. Obviously, if you need any more help or info or demonstrations, do let me know, and we'll see what we can do for you. So let me get that put away, and then we'll get ready to stitch. So as always, I am not prepared. So I may have to zoom out a little bit on this one. So here we go. So this is what we're working on today. So we're working on this one. So a lot of it is all going to be blues and darker colours. Now I just need to find out where I need to start from. And what colour we're going to start with. So number 3. This one. Now a little tip as well. A couple of people asked me about this. So if you're using cards like this and you've got your floss through like that, some people have been having problems where it knots up all the time. Now I'm not taking credit for this one because I saw this one on Lisa's channel, who is Crossed by Floss. If you have it tight like this, when you're trying to pull out a strand, it will like curl up. So when you're trying to stitch with it, it starts knotting and tangling. So the best thing to do is loosen it off so it's not as tight. And then when you pull your strand out, it's a lot straighter. So then it doesn't tangle up and knot as you're using it. So I don't know if you already know this or not, but for those of you who don't know, that is a handy way if you are struggling with your floss always tangling and knotting, and you keep your floss like that. Even if you have it on thread drops, again, just loosen them off a little bit before you pull your strand out, and it'll stop it from all bunching up and knotting and everything. So just a little tip there for you. So let's get zoomed in and then we'll get started. Once I can find out where I'm up to. So as I say, I always use the loop start, but I'm not using like any kind of variegated floss or anything like that. So when I'm using 2 strands, I just do the loop start. So much easier for me. So I have a couple of questions as well. So we'll be going through those in a moment. First of all, we'll go through, as usual, updates. Or life updates. So, since my last video, so today is now Tuesday. And it's 10 to 8 in the morning. So, I finally have got rid of the headaches from my concussion. So, I got rid of those. My last one was on Sunday. No, yesterday, Monday. No, Sunday night. The confusion's still there. So I finally got rid of the headaches. Had a little bit of dizziness yesterday, but not an awful lot. So all's good. As I say, I'm back at the doctor's tomorrow. So I'm back at the doctor's tomorrow for him to sign me off to go back to work. I'm not bothered if he doesn't sign me off, it just gives me more time for stitching. But other than that, I feel fine. Where my scab is on my head, that is itching, so obviously that means it's healing. So the only thing is I can't scratch it because my head still hurts there, where the bump is. It's like a Russian, well, what is it? No, water torture kind of thing. You've got an itch, but you know you're not allowed to touch it. So, but other than that, it's doing good. I still managed to get some stitching in, so that's the main thing. And for those of you who wanted to see how I prepared my handcuff silk, my Mrs. Aida silk, which I'm going to be using for my pandemic. I did that video this morning as well, so that was at like 7 o'clock, so I've been a busy boy already. So that's done, so that will be up later on this week as well, as a floss tube extra. So then you can see how I've prepared it. No, I ain't saying it's the right way, and it's probably not the wrong way either, but that's how I'm doing it. So, but that's all ready, so I can start pandemic, so I'll be starting that one later on today as well. So yeah, so look out for that one. So I hope you all had a good Easter or holiday season, and you got plenty of stitching done. I didn't get as much as I wanted to. Saturday and that I was still a little bit headaches and dizziness, so I did a bit of stitching. But I had to go and have a lie down and rest a couple of times. But I still managed to get some done. So, which is a good thing. I found my mum up as well on Saturday. She's doing really good. She's still doing her exercises for her arm, and apparently she's noticing a difference now with regards to her hand. So her hand's definitely getting a lot better. She's not digging a nail in her hand all the time now from the thumb, so that's good. So all I need to do now is get the arm working. So she's not so much bothered about her arm working straight away, as long as her hand is working okay. So fingers crossed that just continues to get better for her. And my brother who's looking after my mum, he goes for his next COVID jab in 3 weeks, so he's already had one. Now I thought you had to, it was like 2 weeks apart from having your injections. Well, I'm going to say apparently over in the UK it's like 6 to 8 weeks. So he goes for his second one soon, and then my mum goes for her second one at the beginning of May. And then my elder brother, he had his first jab on Saturday. Now, my mum and my twin brother had the Pfizer one. My elder brother, he's had the AstraZeneca one. And he had that at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. He woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday and felt a bit lousy. I know that's one of the side effects. And he felt like he was coming down with cold or something. And then he didn't get out of bed until 6 o'clock on Sunday night. He was absolutely done in, he said. He felt like he'd been hit by a bus. Now, no, they did say that was one of the side effects of the AstraZeneca one. Is that for the first 24 hours you feel absolutely shocking. And he most certainly did. So I spoke to him last night, and he's doing a lot better. Still a little bit tired, but other than that, he's doing all right. So hopefully when he has the second jab, he won't be as bad. Over here, we're still waiting to find out when we're getting ours. They're meant to be upping the amount of doctors that are giving it out now, so we'll see when my age category gets called. I have also got some fabric on the way. I ordered my brother's fabric on Sunday. No, I'll get my days mixed up. We've been a long weekend and having so much time off. I ordered it yesterday, Monday morning, and I got a message within like 2 hours saying that it's all been done and it will go out in the post today. So hopefully I'll have that by the weekend. So then that means 2 more new starts, which will be my brother's pieces. So, but I've told him there's got to be no rush on them, so he'll get them when he gets them. So I may have to buy some flossers for them first before I start them, because I know one of them has a lot of blue in it, and the other one has a lot of pale colours, so we will see. So with regards to the rain that we were meant to be getting for over the Easter period, we didn't get it. So it was meant to be absolutely bucketing it down on Sunday night and all day yesterday. It rained, I think, once on Sunday night for 10 minutes, and that was it. Yesterday, no rain at all until it got towards last night. And then it absolutely slung it down last night after I'd gone to bed. But we've not had that much rain. So, and it was raining this morning when I got up, but it's now stopped. Either that or it's the really, as I call it, wet rain, the light drizzle stuff that gets you absolutely soaked and you don't realise it. So I call that wet rain. So it's now doing that, I think, by the looks of it. Apologies. Message. Right. So, and that's all the life updates. So let's get into some messages. So the next one is from Karen, who asks, what's the length of thread that you are working with? Curiosity. As you have a nice flow of stitching. So if I am doing 1/1, then my thread lengths are about 15-16 inches. So basically I just go from my fingertips to my elbow. If I am doing 2 strands, then I will go from my fingertips to my shoulder. So that's about, I think it works out about 23 inches or something like that. So that's the length of ones I do. With the kit ones, obviously these are already pre-cut. So I don't know what length those are. So hence the reason I'll be threading more than normal on this, because I'm doing it over 2/1. So obviously the pre-cut lengths are doubled in half, so I think they're around about 16 inches, so they'll be like 8 inches with this one. So that makes it a pain having to thread more, but it makes you feel like you've done more work because you're threading more. So that's that one. Trying to find the questions. So the next one is from Carol, who asks, what sort of stitching challenges are you doing? So I am in Full Coverage Fanatics, and I'm doing the bookshelf challenge, which there are 3 books each month, and the number of pages per book is times by 10, and that's how many stitches you do. So some of them are like 200 pages, so you do 2,000 stitches, so on. So I'm doing that one at the moment. So far I have completed January's and February's, and partway through March. So I'm a little bit behind on those. I think the main reason being the very last book in February was like 8,500 stitches. So I'm using the Tiger Family of the Jungle piece for all the bookshelf challenges, so I can get some work done on it. So because I only work on that like 2, sometimes 3 times a week, I've not managed, well, it took me a while to get the 8,000 stitches done on there. I'm in full Enchanted Stitching group, and I only do the weekly challenge ones. I don't do they do like month-long challenges. So I only do the weekly challenge ones on there. So each week you get different sets. You get 4 different challenges each week, and you have to try and tie a project into it. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. You only have to do like I think there was only about changing it, but it's 250 stitches on each piece in a week. So I'll try and get all them done in one day if I can, just to make it easier. Now, can I get this last stitch with this tiny bit of floss that's left, and then do a pin stitch afterwards? And then I'm also I do Whip Go, which is Jessie Marie's bingo. So I do that, and as you know, I'm not succeeding in that one very well. Don't hate you when you're 2 lengths of floss when you're doing 2 strands, and one's always shorter than the other. And when your needle comes out as well, partway through doing a pin stitch. I've also joined another group which is called Survival of the Stitches. It's a new group. It's not long since started, but it's a fun group. And basically, you are in a settlement and you have to do tasks to like get your food and resources and everything else you're going to need. Okay, that one will snip off from the back. And then you have to do fighting. Yeah, as a team, you have to do so many stitches for challenges. So it's been quite fun. It actually pushes you to get some stitching done. So, which is good. Now that one is, you're in your groups, so I think there's about 6 settlements or something like that. So each group has their own like Facebook Messenger group, so you're talking there. So, which is fun. You get to meet some new people that you've never spoken to before. But you wake up in the morning and you've got like over 100 messages. So that can be a bit annoying trying to read through all those in the morning just to find out what's going off. But it's the group I'm in, it's a really good group. So it's got Sarah from Pain Free, who runs Pain Free Crafts. She's in there. Eileen, who is Thread Picker, which is a website. So she does all like silks and stuff, over-dyed silks or hand-dyed silks, one of them. She's got some really nice colours on there as well. Excuse me, just having a drink. So yeah, there's a few of us in there, and it's been fun so far. Yeah. So I'm enjoying those challenges, but they're the only challenge groups I'm in. So I can probably tie half of them in with the other ones that I'm doing. So, which is all good. Next question, where are we? This one is from, I apologise, I'm probably going to say your name wrong. Silja, or Celia, who said, I really enjoy your videos. How are you working with thread drops when you have cats? I have 2 cats. I would love to play with them, with the dangly threads. That's why I have a master stash of bobbinated threads that I use for all my projects. So, as you know, my cats are not lap cats or anything like that for some strange reason. They don't like to come and sit on your lap unless it's really cold and you're wearing a dressing gown. So, my cats don't actually bother with the floss. Every now and then, Tiger may come and sit on my knee. Well, now that it's getting colder, he does it a bit more often while I'm trying to stitch, and he'll try and catch the thread underneath as I pull the needle through. Ginge, if he's in a playful mood, he will just pounce on my piece to try and get the floss. But that's not very often at all. And Kitty just likes to get the floss as it's like laying down. So I have it on the arm of the chair or whatever, and she'll just try and grab it then. But normally, the cats don't bother with the floss at all. They stay away from it, to be fair. Which I don't mind at all, because my cats in the UK, they were nightmares. If ever I tried to stitch, the eldest cat over there, Lucy, she would be absolutely mental, and she'd be catching a floss whether I'm coming up from the bottom or going down, and I'd only be able to stitch like 10-15 minutes, and then I'd have to put it away because she was just constantly grabbing the floss. So yeah, but with the floss drops, thread drops, I have no problems at all with the cats getting them. As I say, I don't have them on any kind of frame or anything. I like standing in front of me. So they're always just laid on the sofa or on the arm of the sofa as I'm stitching, and then I just pull them off as I need to. So nothing there really to entice the cats to come and play with them. But then I tend to just chasing each other around anyway, or trying to catch bugs. So thank goodness for the bugs. Keep them away from my stitching. Right, next question. This is from Winter Storm. She has a few questions. How do you store your thread drops? So, my thread drops are just put onto a ring. Let me just grab one. I've got some in front of me here. So, my thread drops are just put onto one of these rings, at the moment, and then they go in my projects that I'm working with, so they go in the project bags for those ones. Once I eventually get sorted out with some form of craft room, then I'm looking at probably getting like a rail or something like that to put them on. So maybe still keep them on the rings, but just put them on a rail, or maybe like some sort of pegboard with hooks on, and just hook them over so that you can still see each one. But if I do that, then what I probably will do is I'll probably twist the thread drops, the floss, to make it shorter. And then it's going to be easier to put them up on a pegboard. But we'll see once I get around to actually sorting out my craft room. I'm still waiting for the bed to disappear from my sister-in-law. She's already got the mattress, she just hasn't come for the bed yet, and she's been coming for the bed since before Christmas. So it's still here. Once that goes, I can start sorting things out. The thing is, the bed's a little bit too big to get in my car to take over to her. So I'll have to wait for her husband to come over with the ute to put it on. Because they've only got a small car like us as well. I've already answered the next part. How do you store them as you're working the project? So in a bundle or spread out somehow, or in some kind of container. So as I say, I just keep them on the rings and then keep them in the project bags when I'm not working on them. If I'm working on them, then I just have them at the side of me, still on the ring and on the arm of the sofa, or at the side of me on the sofa. That's how I do that. Do you store specific thread drops with each project when you aren't working on it, or in a label container separate from the whip? So if it's ones that I've kitted up specifically for a project, I will keep it in the project itself. For example, my big cats piece, that one, oops, maybe I should have looked what I was doing. That one, I got the floss separate for those, so they stay in with that one, just so I know where they're for. Got carried away stitching. If it's just some spare floss that I've got, then I'll just keep them all in one bag, again on a ring like you saw there, and then when I'm working on a project, if I need a colour and I know it's on there, I'll just pull it off of that one. And then I keep them in, if it's the spare ones, then they're kept in a Ziploc bag. That squeeze all the air out of it, just so that they stay airtight and they don't get damp or anything like that. Obviously, in Australia, we have high humidity, so some things do feel a bit damp if you leave them unsealed, which is a big pain. Do you ever get stressed about how many whips you have? No. Obviously not, because I keep starting more. I would like to eventually get some finished. But no, I never stress over how many whips I've got. The only thing I stress about is how I'm going to get the flots for them all. Hence the reason I bought the master set, so I can just carry on stitching while I'm waiting for floss to turn up. And where I'm going to store them. So at the moment I just have them in the project bags in a big container at the side of the sofa where I sit. But no, I never get stressed over how many I've got. There's no point getting stressed over something you enjoy doing. And I enjoy stitching, so. The thing is, sometimes you don't get around to working on some projects as much as others, and then you pull one out once in a blue moon and it's like, I forgot I had that one, and it really needs to get some work done on it. But other than that, nah. Yeah, the hardest part is just choosing which ones to work on each week. And for some reason, a lot of mine is similar projects getting worked on each week. But some of them, I say, if I'm doing a challenge or something like that, then I'm going to work on them more than what I would do. It's like the challenge that I'm doing with Natalie at the moment, where she challenged me to see who could finish a dolphin first on a piece. So obviously that dolphin's going to get more work than it would normally do, because I'm in a challenge and I want to win the challenge. Well, even if I don't win the challenge, it gives me a kick of the butt to get work done on it. So in a way, that's a good idea. Another part, actually, I didn't finish reading it, with regards to getting stressed about how many whips you have. Obviously, you enjoy them, but do you regret having so many whips on the go? Or do you enjoy the range of options that you have? I don't regret having as many whips as I do. I regret not getting as many finished as I wanted. But I enjoy having the different options available, so I know some people like a monogamous stitcher and just like to stick to the same projects. I don't. I suppose I could do, and then it'll get me a lot more finishes. But I like having the variety to choose what I want to work on, instead of working on the same one day in, day out. For me, that would just it would either burn me out on that piece, or I would just get bored of it and then I'd put it away and it'd never get stitched again. Well, for a while. It's like my Majestic Tiger, the piece that is on the wall behind me. I mean, that one took me, as I say, about 6 years to do. Because that was the only piece I was working on. So I'd do a bit and then I'd get bored and then I'd put it away, and then I'd do a bit more a couple of months later and then put it away again. So yeah, I kind of got bored of just stitching on the same one. I don't know why, because stitching is stitching. But that was just me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just reading the rest of the comment that's I got from Winter Storm, just to see if there's any more questions on there. She was just telling me about how she wanted to try thread drops. And I say, I started bobbinating. That's what my supersized tiger family of the jungle is. And then, like I was saying, I had a cheaper version of a Peiko for my mini Deer Creek. But like I said, then I found the thread drops, and I find that so much easier than having to wind the floss on and off all the time. And like I said, it's so much easier to store away as well. Even if you don't have them laid flat, even if you have them just crumpled up in a bag or whatever, they don't seem to kink as much. I mean, again, the one that I've just shown you, this one, let me zoom out. So this one, I mean, they're not kinked, and these ones get put in a bag. So when I put them away, I just like fold them in half, kind of thing, and then just stuff them in a bag. And they've not kinked. The little kinks that you've seen there are from when there was a skein before, when I've split them out. So I've had no problems whatsoever using them on the thread drops. So I'm going to say it takes no time whatsoever at all just to get them out. You just open the bag and pull it out. So you don't have to mess around with all the unbobbing it, unwinding it from the bobbin and winding it back up again and everything like that. So unless, the main thing to do is just try one. Try a thread drop, see how you go. They're not for everybody. Some people like them, some people don't. Do which you feel best with. But I prefer the thread drops. Right, so that's that one. Next one is from Redline Handcraft, who said, how many DMC colours do you already know by number? I know 310, and I know blank, or blanc, however you want to pronounce it, which is white, E-Crew, 666, which is a very nice red, I like that colour, 939, obviously, I think everyone knows the main colours. I'm going to say you'd think I would know a lot. 154, I like that one, that's a nice purpley colour. You'd think I would know a fair lot, especially with having the supersized tiger one, since that's max colour and you're constantly switching colours on that one. I'm going to say I know, I think it's, I'm going to probably get this wrong now. 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, I think, are all green. 720, I think, is an orange. 156 is a blue. But yeah, no, I don't know many. Just your standard ones that most people know. Right, next question. Right, so the next one is from Geneva. I think, I apologise again if I butcher your name, but I think it's Geneva. And now, Geneva, if I remember correctly, was my first giveaway winner who won the Christmas charge. If I remember correctly. Now, her daughter lives over in Australia as well. And if I remember rightly, Geneva's in America. So she loves watching my channel because it makes her feel closer to her daughter, knowing that her daughter's over on the Gold Coast, which is practically where I am. So she does have a question. How did you get started in cross-stitching? So I think somebody else asked this question as well. So again, if you have been with me from the start, you may remember. I did a video on how I got started in cross-stitching, and I think I mentioned it before in a Stitch With Me. But basically, I got started in cross-stitching. First of all, we did it when I was at school. I was actually off at the time. And my brother brought me home a piece of cross-stitching to do, because it was what we was doing in home economics for some reason. So he brought me home a piece of cross-stitching to do, and I really enjoyed it. And that was it. So I was about maybe 11, 12 when I did that one. Didn't do any more then, and then when I had my brain surgery to get rid of my tumour, I was sat at home and wanted something to do, and I remembered I used to enjoy doing the cross-stitching, so I went looking for just a project to do, and I found this was one of them, Chief Eagle Spirit, and my Native Wolves, and my Majesty's Tiger. So yeah, never done it since school, and then I decided to buy 4 kits. And I've enjoyed it ever since. Obviously, at the time, I wasn't stitching as much as I do now. It was just every now and then something to do. And then it wasn't until I moved over to Australia that I started stitching a lot more, because, as I said, I was hanging around. I weren't allowed to work for the first 3 months, and then I had to find a job after that, so it was probably about 5 months or so just stitching. So that's when I finished Majestic Tiger off, and then started on the Hades, and the rest, as I say, is history. So yeah, so that's how I got into cross stitching. And at first I was only working on the Majestic Tiger, and then I found floss tube, and I was like, ooh, look at all these heaven and earth design pieces. Must go and investigate. Must go and buy all of them. And so that's how my heaven and earth addiction started. I can't remember who it was or what I was watching. When I first saw the heaven and earth ones and the parking method, I think it was Kim Hollenbeck. I think she was one of the first I watched. It was her and Jessie Marie. I know that much. Were one of the first I watched. So it was probably seeing, I think it was from watching Kim when she was doing the, I can't remember what it was called now. It was a hair. And she was trying to get it finished for the year. And that was a Hade. And I was like, ooh, I need to get one of these. And then she would pull out Oh Baby. And I was like, wow, that is awesome. It looks so realistic. So that sent me down the rabbit hole of Hades. I do have another question, shouldn't I? This is from Rebecca G. How do you keep your stitching so neat? Pass. I just stitch. I guarantee not all my stitching is neat. It may look neat on the camera, especially when I'm doing my stitch with me's and stuff like that. But I try to keep it as neat as I possibly can. Sometimes, if I spot a stitch that's gone wrong while I'm stitching, I can then frog that out and redo that stitch. But if it's one where I've gone way too far and it's like I'm not frogging all the way back there just to get that one stitch to correct it, so I won't. So it's like, where are we? Here, I don't know if you can see. This stitch here isn't laid properly at all. But obviously I've missed it as I've been stitching along. So it's just stayed there. Makes it unique, as they say. So yeah, it definitely makes it more unique. It's more you when it's got an error in it. I know there's someone who actually does it on purpose, where they actually stitch an incorrect stitch, so every single one of their pieces got an incorrect stitch in it. It's just their way of making it unique for them. Mine's definitely got a couple of incorrect stitches in some of my projects. Okay, next one is from Bronwyn, who asks, a question for your next stitch with me. When you stitch your full crosses, do you stitch one full cross at a time, or do you stitch one leg at a time, then go back and do the other leg? So I always do full cross. So I don't do like go that way and then that and then come back and do those. No, I always do full cross at a time. I have sometimes, if say I'm doing a row and then there might be say a gap and then 3 stitches, but then my other stitches are way back over this way again, I may do it then, like just to make it a bit easier, instead of going there and then carrying it all the way back. I will go like one leg and then come back and do the other leg. But 9 out of 10, I do full cross. I did do a thing on here, on this piece actually, when I was in the top in the like bright purpley colour, to see, because everyone says you always get more stitches out of doing one leg so far and then coming back and doing another leg. So I was intrigued, so I thought, right, I'm going to test this and actually see if you do get more stitches. And their answer is yes, you do get more stitches. One, that's all I got. 2 same lengths. I did full cross all the way along, and then I did the half stitches up to the same length and then back, and I got 1 extra stitch. So for the sake of just doing a full cross at a time and for 1 extra stitch, it's not worth it for me. So yeah, so you got one, I got 1 extra stitch out of it, so I'll stick with my full cross. Have we got any more questions? I've already done that one. That was from Sherry asking for the demonstration. I think that is it. And that was it. So that's all the questions I've got this week. So a couple there. Not done too bad, we're almost at an hour already. So that's gone really quick. So as I say, I'm going to be starting Pandemic later on. Finally. After having the pattern for what? Over a year-ish. So I'm going to look forward to doing that one. It's going to be fun. Doing it on 28 count, 1/1. And then I'll work out how I'm going to do the little motifs later on. I do have that darker piece of Mrs. Sader silk, which I showed in my update video. So I may use that one for the motifs, the little motifs of the animals and stuff like that. But we will see. I haven't fully decided yet. I think it's just going to be a case of winging it. So we'll just do it as we go along. I also may be starting another project as well. We will see. I have all this fabric and nothing to put on it. I'll do have stuff to put on it, but I haven't got it sorted out yet. So yeah, so I think I might be starting another one as well. Time will tell. Well, you'll find out on Saturday. Right, I think that's roughly where I need to be. Yep. So I'm going to finish this thread off here. And then we'll call it a day, because that'll make it almost an hour long video. It seems to be roughly around about the thing now. I'm about to say I think it used to be like 40 minutes, and now I'm up to an hour. I know it did get higher at one point, but hey ho. You can only get as high as you've got things to talk about. So, on that note, we'll end this video here. So, you can see the outline now of the orca, dolphin, whatever it is. So you can see that one coming in there now as well. So I've still got a bit to go on this page. I think it comes down to around about here. So I've still got a fair bit. If I want to get this one finished for this year. But again, I've still got 8 months, 9 months, 8 months to finish it off. So that's everything, guys. So again, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to drop those down below. You can email me. My email address, as usual, is dizzystitcher@gmail.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do. On there, it's Dizzy Stitcher, and again, you can message me on there as well. And again, if you've got a YouTube channel that I've not shouted out to you, let me know, and I'll get in, watch those and have a look. I'm going to get on and do my shout outs this week. I've got to get it done. I've been saying it for the last month. And that's everything, guys. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. As I said, there'll be another video popping up at some point this week as well, with regards to how I prepare my Mrs. Aida silk. So again, stay safe, happy stitching, and until my next update, enjoy yourself. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.